thought that I was dreaming when you said you loved me. The start of nothing.
What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl janiaaaliyah, and welcome back to my channel.
The start of nothing. Ooh.
So in today's video, as y'all can see by the thumbnail and the title, I am going to be showing y'all my top 2 favorite methods for installing clip-ins on short or bob length hair. And so it's been a minute since I've done a video like this, so it was only right that I go ahead and update it and show y'all that it still works. So without further ado, let me show y'all the hair and let's get into the video. So first things first, the hair is from CurlsQueen hair, and I'm going to show y'all everything that came inside the box. Inside the box, they send you like this little kit. This one has a brush, a bonnet, and then some extra clips in case you want to kind of customize some clip-ins or just add extra clips onto certain pieces. Then as for the actual hair, we are installing one full thick bundle of their Light Yaki in 18 inches, which I personally feel like I love this Light Yaki, and y'all can just kind of see how much it already mimics like just naturally straightened hair. And so I love that. You won't have to work too hard with this hair. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright everybody, so let's go ahead and jump right into this tutorial. I started off by just counting the clip-ins so that way y'all know and I know exactly how many pieces we're working with. So in total, there were about 10 clip-ins in this pack, which due to the fact that this hair is Light Yaki, it's a very like natural looking and very thick and full texture. So 10 pieces was more than enough. And so when I like to start in the back of my head, what I like to do is I like to kind of measure each piece as I'm putting it on my scalp. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I like to just to be able to get as much coverage as possible. That's the way I do it. And typically, what you guys will see when I go on to the other method, I usually like to part at least 2 fingers width between each clip-in, just so that way I can get the most out of my clip-ins, and also I can get up to the top of my head as fast as possible without running out of space. And so that's usually what I like to do with that. And the parts don't have to be perfect, they don't have to be like super straight, but you know, do the best that you can. But as long as you place your clip-ins strategically and also part your hair strategically, so that way you can get that coverage. And also keeping in mind that with this method, I'm working with not only my short blunt bob length haircut or whatever, but due to the fact that this method is for short hair, unless you're going to use an insane amount of clip-ins and make this install really full, it's dang near impossible to hide your actual hair without doing really thin parts in between each clip-ins, which with really thin parts that require many more clip-ins. And so I try not to stress too much about that, but unless your hair was like much longer or whatever, there's not really much that you can do with this method that will actually hide or conceal your hair. But I do think that this method provides the perfect amount of coverage, so that way you can't even really tell. And I will say this is maybe, I guess, the easiest method to do for those people who don't like their hair to be put up or braided up or like anything like that, and you just want to go in and slide these clip-ins in. This is the method to do. So just keep watching as we're kind of getting to the top of my head. Once I get to the top of my head, I kind of like to work in a way that kind of reflects how you would do with a sew-in, where as you're getting to those last final tracks, you want to try to get your final track to lay as close to your leave out as possible, so that way, you know, it just looks seamless and it all flows. And so the way I kind of operate, especially when it comes to clip-ins, is that no matter what's going on in the back of my head, or no matter how far apart the clip-ins are in the back of my head, once I get to the front, once I get to the top, once I get to like where that leave out is, I want to make sure that that track is placed so beautifully and seamlessly that you're not even worried about what's going on under these clip-ins, even though we know our hair is probably a complete mess under the clip-ins because we got 8-inch and the clip-ins are 18-inch. But that last track, this is the one that literally brings it all together. And so then to finish off, I'm literally just going in and just barely straightening my hair. This texture was literally so beautiful and straightened out, it's like beautifully. And y'all, the blend, like usually I may have to do a little bit of work for the blend, but when I tell you I did not have to work for this blend at all. And so this is the final look of this method. It's definitely one of my go-tos for sure. So here are the results. Let's get into the next one. And also, if you did want to know a difference between the two methods, it would be this. With this method, the behind the ear is slightly thicker, whereas with the other one, you'll see it's like much more flat. Okay, so boom, getting into the second method, which I will say I may be a little biased, but this is my favorite method. One, because it's so super easy, and because you can low-key try to pretend and convince yourself that it may be slightly more protective than the other one, just because you don't have all of your hair out. And then on top of that, I would also like to say that I personally feel like this method comes out much flatter than the other one as well, because you don't have all of your hair out. But simply put, the way this method works is I like to part out my leave out. And so when I part out my leave out, y'all can kind of see I don't do too thick of a section, and then I kind of make it a little thicker towards the back of the section, just because I know that that back area will also need to be wide enough to cover whatever clip-in lays right behind that. And this is the part that everybody wonders about, because I've done this method on my channel before and everybody was so concerned, like, oh my gosh, let me see the back, let me see the back. So this is what I do for the back. Because we are working with short hair, and because I'm literally doing like this clip-in install on my short hair, my blunt cut bob, literally that is all the ponytail that I get. And so y'all can see it's not much of a hump, and I feel like the key to doing this ponytail method is making sure that ponytail is as flat and as low as possible. When I say flat and low, I literally mean your kitchen should be in the ponytail as well. If your kitchen is not in the ponytail, then the ponytail is not flat enough. That is literally the only way with this method to ensure that you don't have a hump. And I've never had a hump with this method, but if anybody was concerned, if your ponytail is flat and low enough, you will not have a hump with this method. As y'all can see, y'all can't see it now, and y'all literally won't be able to see it later. The girls don't even know that I have a whole little ponytail up under this. But basically, this method is super easy to do. As y'all see, I'm literally just going in and putting the clip-ins right over my ponytail, and this method goes by really quickly. And I feel like because your hair is not out, you kind of have a little more leeway in your placement of the clip-ins with this method. So I like to keep my 2 finger width space between each of them. But as far as like the angle goes, and as far as like how high or low I may put a clip in, I can be slightly more flexible with this method, because I don't really have to do too much parting and stuff. And so as y'all can see, this one went by literally so much faster, and we're already at the top of my head, and I'm placing those last tracks. And girl, I don't know about y'all, but it's giving already. It's literally giving already. And it was probably right around this moment that I knew, okay, yeah, this clip-in install is eating, and this method is like absolutely, like literally when I went out with this.
Okay, y'all, so here is the final look of the second method, and can I just say, this literally is a bust down. Like, this is so flat and beautiful. I really don't even know what to say. If y'all can't tell, the second method is by far my favorite, because I do feel like it's a little quicker. And it makes for a more seamless install, since you don't really have to worry about having more leave out or having your hair in the way. And I know a lot of y'all may be concerned about the little ponytail in the back, but y'all, I promise this is a style, or this is a method for short hair, particularly bob length, but it will work on shorter. As long as you put your hair into that little tiny ponytail in the back, this is who that method is for. And so with that being said, this is the back of my head. As y'all can see, there's no hump, no lump, no bump, literally nothing, due to the fact that, like I said, this method is for short hair, and I have been using this method on my short hair personally. the ponytail ain't gonna be but so big, especially if your hair is already straight. So for those of y'all who may be concerned about having a bump or a lump in the back of your head, as long as you make sure that little ponytail is low and literally flat basically to your neck, you're gonna be good. But I love this method hands down. And this hair, get into it literally as I was installing it on the first method, and I put these clip-ins like next to my leave out, I was like, hold on. But anyways, hopefully one of these two methods works for you. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this tutorial, and hopefully this was able to help y'all out on your next clip-in install. Do make sure you check in the description box down below to get all the details on this hair, because as y'all can see, why wouldn't you want to use this hair for your next clip-in install? Come on now. But anyway, let me know if y'all have any questions or concerns in the comments. But you already know, click, smack that subscribe button down below, and I will see y'all on my next video.